Welcome to Conspiracist. Today we're diving into a pretty compelling hypothesis. The idea that governments might be intentionally hiding evidence about cyber espionage conspiracies.
It's a complex topic, definitely. We've got quite a bit to unpack here.
Yeah, we'll be looking at, well, conspiracy theories in general, how they work, and then specifically at cyber espionage, what states actually do.
And crucially, where those two things might intersect. That's where the idea of concealment really comes into play, doesn't it?
Right, because, intelligence operations are secret by nature. That's the whole point.
Exactly. So that inherent secrecy, especially with something as, well, shadowy as cyber ops can feel, it naturally raises questions. What aren't we being told?
Okay, so let's start with conspiracy theories themselves. The material suggests they often paint a very clear picture, good versus evil.
Yeah, they function almost like morality tales. They simplify things, creating these neat narratives with obvious heroes and villains. It provides a kind of order.
Especially when things are confusing, like, say, figuring out who launched a specific cyber attack.
Precisely. Attribution is notoriously difficult in cyberspace. So a conspiracy theory can offer a much simpler, maybe more emotionally satisfying answer, even if it's not accurate.
And this simplification, this good versus evil thing, it sounds like it can also create really strong divisions, like an us and them.
Definitely. By identifying some group, maybe a government agency, maybe someone else as them pulling the strings, it fosters deep distrust.
Which can damage, trust in institutions generally.
It absolutely can. And our sources point out that extremist groups are quite adept at using these narratives.
Using them how? For recruitment.
Yes, for recruitment, for pushing radical agendas. These theories can offer a framework, a shared enemy, a sense of purpose for people who feel maybe ignored or wronged.
It gives them an explanation and someone to blame.
Exactly. It channels their grievances.
It's interesting that this isn't really a new phenomenon. We have examples going way back, like anxieties about the Illuminati in the 1700s.
That's a really key point. Fears about secret groups manipulating events, they've been around for centuries. They just adapt to the times.
So from secret societies back then to maybe powerful tech entities or hidden state actors today.
Precisely. The core themes of hidden control, they persist. It suggests a kind of basic human need to find explanations, especially when things feel uncertain or scary.
Okay, so if these theories can have negative impacts, what helps counter them? Our material mentions critical thinking.
Yes, fostering intellectual virtues is crucial. Things like critical thinking, open-mindedness, the ability to assess evidence logically.
So education is key then, helping people evaluate information, spot flawed arguments.
Absolutely. Education shapes how we process information from a young age. It builds resilience against simplistic and potentially harmful narratives.
All right, let's pivot then. Let's talk about cyber espionage itself as a tool of statecraft. The sources frame it as a kind of natural evolution of intelligence work.
That's a fair way to put it. Nations have always sought intelligence on rivals or potential threats. Cyber espionage is just, applying those age-old principles to the digital world.
Using technology to gather secrets, conduct reconnaissance, maybe exert influence online.
Exactly. It opens up new avenues that didn't exist before the internet.
It's interesting the mention of the Vienna Convention. It sort of acknowledges that, diplomats might sometimes be intelligence officers undercover.
Right, there's an accepted level of intelligence activity that happens under diplomatic immunity. Sort of baked into the system.
But then there's this other category, non-official cover, NOCs. What's the deal there?
That's when operatives work without that diplomatic protection. So the risks are much higher if they're caught. They could face local laws, immigration violations, serious consequences.
And if they are caught, states have ways to handle that.
Yes, diplomatic tools come into play. Declaring diplomats persona non grata, kicking them out, or arranging spy swaps. Things like that.
Okay, another distinction that seems important in cyber policy is between deterrence and shaping activities.
Right. Deterrence is about preventing an action altogether, like making the cost of attacking so high the adversary won't do it.
But then there's restrictive deterrence. What's that?
That's more pragmatic, maybe. It acknowledges that you might not be able to stop all undesirable actions, like maybe low-level espionage, without incurring unacceptable costs yourself. So you focus on deterring the most damaging stuff.
So cyber espionage might fall into that category of things that are really hard to deter completely.
Very likely, yes. Given how states seem to view it as, almost routine intelligence gathering, and the inherent deniability the cyber domain offers, achieving absolute deterrence against all forms of cyber espionage is incredibly challenging.
Which brings us back to that intersection. Cyber espionage and conspiracy theories. The internet and social media seem central here.
They're absolutely central. They've revolutionized how information and conspiracy theories spread. The speed, the reach, it's unprecedented.
Bypassing traditional media, traditional fact-checking, you mean?
Exactly. And social media platforms allow these narratives to find receptive audiences and spread within echo chambers, reinforcing existing beliefs.
And just the sheer noise online. It's hard to tell what's credible sometimes.
It is. Plus, the algorithms themselves, they often prioritize engagement, right? Sensationalism, strong emotions. That often gets more clicks and shares than nuanced factual reporting.
So the platforms themselves might inadvertently boost conspiracy theories?
It's a documented effect. Look at something like QAnon. Its growth was massively fueled by social media dissemination. It shows the power these platforms have.
And our material links disinformation often spread through conspiracy theories directly to cybersecurity threats now. That feels like a significant shift.
It is. Disinformation isn't just about misleading people anymore. It's seen as a tool to destabilize, to sow discord, undermine trust, even interfere in elections. It's weaponized information.
We saw examples during COVID, didn't we? Anti-vaccination campaigns built on conspiracy theories.
Yes, or claims about secret biolabs or disinformation targeting specific companies or groups, often leveraging existing conspiracy narratives to make them stickier.
And when major platforms try to moderate this stuff, the conversation just moves elsewhere.
Often, yes. Content moderation policies vary widely. So communities might migrate to platforms with looser rules, creating these alternative online spaces where theories can flourish with less scrutiny. It fragments the information landscape.
Which must make researching these things incredibly difficult for academics or analysts.
It poses huge methodological challenges. How do you account for bots amplifying messages? Are online expressions of belief genuine? There are ethical issues, too, about collecting data. It's tricky.
Let's maybe make this more concrete. Consider Stuxnet, the worm that targeted Iranian nuclear facilities. Initially, nobody knew who made it.
Right, a total mystery at first. It hit lots of Windows systems, but seemed specifically aimed at Siemens controllers used in Iran's nuclear program. Theories flew around.
Was it a research project gone wrong? An accident? Or
Something more deliberate.
Yeah.
The sheer complexity. The use of multiple zero-day exploits, stolen digital certificates. It pointed towards a very well-resourced actor, likely a state or states. Long before any official acknowledgments, that ambiguity fueled a lot of speculation.
And the pandemic, as you mentioned, seemed like a perfect storm for conspiracy theories.
Absolutely. Global crisis, lots of fear, genuine uncertainty about the virus. It created a vacuum that conspiracy theories rushed to fill, offering easy answers and scapegoats.
We also see political figures sometimes getting involved, either promoting theories or being associated with them.
And that can give these theories a huge boost in perceived legitimacy and reach, unfortunately. When powerful people echo these ideas, it makes them harder to dismiss for their followers.
And looking ahead, things like deepfakes, manipulated video and audio, that seems like a new frontier for disinformation.
It's a serious concern. The ability to create realistic-looking fake videos or audio clips could be used to discredit opponents, spread false narratives, or just generally erode trust in any media. How do you know it's real?
Okay, so let's circle back to the core hypothesis. Governments intentionally concealing evidence of these cyber espionage conspiracies. Why might people believe that's happening? Secrecy seems like the obvious starting point.
It's the biggest one, probably. Intelligence agencies operate in secret. Cyber operations are inherently clandestine. So when something happens and the government response is guarded or details are withheld,
People fill in the blanks with suspicion, assume there's a hidden agenda.
it's a natural human response in some ways. An information vacuum often gets filled with speculation.
Yeah.
The lack of transparency, even if necessary for security, can breed distrust.
And the technical side. The complexity of attacks, the difficulty of proving who did it, does that play a role?
I think so. When official explanations are complicated or attribution is tentative, we assess with medium confidence, it can sound unconvincing to some.
Especially compared to a simpler, more direct conspiracy narrative.
Exactly. A theory that says, oh, it was definitely Group X and here's why they covered it up, can feel more satisfying, more complete than a nuanced technical analysis filled with caveats.
And I guess history plays a part. Without needing specific examples, the fact that governments have sometimes deceived the public, that lingers, doesn't it?
It absolutely creates a baseline level of skepticism for some people. Past instances of deception, real or perceived, make it easier to believe in present-day cover-ups. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild.
So secrecy, complexity, historical distrust, and the fact that conspiracy theories just offer appealingly simple stories.
They provide clarity, certainty, and often an emotional charge that complex reality lacks.
But let's flip it. What are the counter-arguments? Why might large-scale concealment be unlikely? Keeping secrets seems hard.
It's incredibly difficult, especially long-term secrets involving many people. Think about the number of individuals who would need to be involved in a major cyber espionage operation and its subsequent cover-up across different agencies, maybe even different countries.
The chances of someone talking or something leaking seem pretty high.
The risk increases exponentially with the number of people involved and the duration. Bureaucracies aren't typically leak-proof. Maintaining perfect, indefinite secrecy on that scale is a massive challenge.
Plus, we have people actively looking for this stuff, right? Cybersecurity researchers, journalists.
Yes, there's a whole ecosystem of independent researchers, threat intelligence companies, and investigative journalists whose job it is to uncover and report on cyber incidents. They provide a crucial check.
They're digging into the technical details, following the digital trails.
And they often publish their findings, challenging or confirming official accounts. Their work adds a layer of transparency, even if it's sometimes incomplete.
And then there's the classic whistleblower possibility.
Always a factor. Someone inside with knowledge and a conscience, or perhaps a grievance, could decide to expose concealed information. It's a constant risk for any clandestine operation.
Finally, what about the government's own credibility? If they were caught in a massive, intentional lie about something like this?
The damage would be immense. The loss of public trust, the diplomatic fallout, the long-term consequences for their legitimacy. It's a huge risk for any government to take. The potential blowback is a powerful disincentive against outright provable deception on that scale.
So wrapping this up, this idea of governments hiding cyber espionage conspiracies really touches on fundamental issues, doesn't it? Trust, secrecy, how we know things in this digital age.
It really does. It highlights that core tension. The state's need for secrecy and security matters versus the public's need for transparency and accountability.
And while, yeah, the secretive nature of cyber ops combined with how conspiracy theories work can definitely lead people down that path.
It's crucial to stay critical, to look closely at the actual evidence or lack thereof, and consider the counterarguments and complexities before jumping to conclusions about deliberate, large-scale concealment.
A thought-provoking area, no doubt. Thanks for listening to Conspiracist.